Okay, I'm here with Dietmar Schantin of IFRA to talk about, first of all, what do you do at IFRA?
I'm responsible for the Newsplex area, and we do reorganizing of newsrooms, building up new newsroom strategies, and implementing these strategies.
Okay, so it's redoing newsrooms, streamlining them.
Yes.
And we had a very interesting conversation about the different channels that newsrooms now have available to them and the way that they can use them.
Yeah.
Often you were saying they're misused when a new channel opens up, such as video. The idea is everybody wants to do everything on video.
Yeah, the problem is that basically it's a new thing. Everyone thinks, oh, let's do everything on video, even if video is not the right storytelling tool to tell a story. So then the result is very often low quality and also very uninteresting videos. So people don't go to the website anymore and watch the video.
Okay.
So it's more about choosing the right format.
Perfect. So what we have to do is choose the right format to tell the right story.
Yes.
So let's go through some of these channels. Video. What is video good for? What is it bad for?
It's mainly for emotional stories, or very colorful story where a lot of movement is in the picture, where a still image can't tell the story in the same way. So video is very good for these kind of things.
Okay, so it's a mistake to use it, as you were saying earlier, for the opening of a bridge.
For example, or a usual normal press conference is something, it's not very dynamic, and these are the things that are covered by television anyway. And as a newspaper, we should maybe focus more on the stories that are not done by television.
Okay, what is the right, using mobile as a channel, what's the power of mobile?
Mobile obviously is very quick. And everyone has got a mobile, so to getting a short information, breaking news to a subscriber, for example, is one possibility for mobiles. It's nothing for long stories, obviously, because the screens are still quite small. This will change now, though, that with e-ink and this whole e-paper, in terms of flexible displays, will increase the size of mobile. So, but at the moment, it's still for breaking news, short news.
Are there any particularly good examples of people using mobiles now?
There are many examples. Some are better, some are not that good. It's always about choice of what do I send out to the customer, to the reader, and very popular are, of course, results of sports games, but also the success is different in every country.
Okay. Online, what is online text? What is that good for?
Hyperlinking is, of course, a big advantage of online text. So people can click around and find related information to certain stories. And so they can scroll up and down. You have the multimedia element. You have the interactivity. So these are the advantages of online text. And also you have picture slideshows.
Okay.
That's also an advantage.
We're talking about newspapers here. Let's talk about the power of print. What is print good for? Are we going to get rid of print? Is print dead?
Definitely not. So we believe very strongly that print will be always very important, because you don't need any technology to consume the content. You can read it wherever you like. And for print, we think that if you need to explain a complex topic, print is still very easy to read, and you can jump back a few paragraphs and read it again. So print is a very good media for lean back consumption, and also for reading certain analysis thoroughly.
Sort of more in-depth pieces.
Yes.
Database.
Database journalism.
The channel of database. Database journalism, exactly. What is that?
It's quite new. It's basically when it's not about stories, it's about certain service information for the readers. For example, in UK there was an example that all the data of hospitals were collected, and wherever you lived, you could just look up what are the ratings of our hospitals in my region. So these kind of things are very popular, and of course drive traffic to the website, which helps again to commercialize it.
Another example you gave was of restaurants.
Restaurant guides, doctor guides, or everything that has something to do with I need to get an information right now. And I need to have a trusted information, and this is where newspapers with their strong brand have a big advantage, because people trust this brand.
Audio. You have a past as a radio journalist, so what can you say about what is the usefulness of audio as a channel?
Audio is a very difficult bit because usually it's more difficult to do a compelling audio program than a video program. Video is easy, you have fancy pictures, you have text that you can talk over the pictures, but for audio there hasn't been a formula yet. There's a few examples, for example museum guides that you can download on your iPod, and then you go through the walk through the museum, and you have the description and analysis of the art critics to each of these paintings, for example. But there are, of course, podcasts out there for sports, for analysis of sports events, so people that people can listen to on the tube or wherever they are. But video is apparently more attractive to newspapers at the moment. But I hope, because I hope that radio or audio will become stronger in the future.
You see there is a possibility for resurgence.
Absolutely. It's ideas. It's about finding the right formula for audio, and I think it hasn't been found yet.
What about newer sort of channels, social networks, Facebook, this sort of thing? How can newspapers use that? Maybe not.
Maybe they can't use it one-to-one at the same recipe. But the idea of building up a community is very attractive for newspapers, because they have a community, their readers, and building this kind of communities around certain topics like gardening or traveling, they can use Web 2.0 functionality, if you like, to build up a community around their brand.
Are there any people who've done that particularly well? Any newspapers that have done that particularly well?
There are several examples out there for gardening, for example, where people also can send in their pictures of their sheds, and hundreds of examples. So at the moment I don't.
Okay, but there are some people using social networking in a powerful
functionalities of social networking.
Okay, so they're not necessarily using Facebook,
right,
but they're using aspects of what Facebook has brought to us.
The communication aspect, the uploading pictures, the contribution aspect, the discussion aspect, and also basically to interact with people in a virtual space.
Another channel we spoke about also was an interesting one, not so related to technology, kind of an old-fashioned one, face-to-face. What is the role of that in newspapers?
Again, it's about the brand of the newspaper and the role of a newspaper in the society. And with face-to-face events like discussion rounds in public, a newspaper can strengthen the brand and become more, let's say, closer to the audience, and for example, facilitating discussions on topics that are important for a region or for a local area. And this is very helpful, or can be very helpful to get this relationship with the reader.
Are there any concrete examples of that?
There is, for example, a regional paper in Denmark. It's Nordiske Media publishing group. They do, if there's a pressing issue, they get the responsible people who can't solve the problem into a room for 24 hours. And editors facilitate this discussion. And this discussion is broadcasted via the newspaper has a cable TV facility. And they broadcast the discussion round on their website and on cable nets. And this is very popular because it's basically the newspaper as a brand helps solving problems in the society. And this is it's not done very often, but I think this is a very good idea.
Okay, so it's not really conferences we're talking about. We're not talking about every newspaper organizing conferences, though that could be something a newspaper would do.
It's nice, but it's basically a media partnership where you put your logo on, but you don't actually help the people in their daily life. And many newspapers have made, especially regional newspapers, have this role to be part of the daily life.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying it's something more involved than a conference.
Yes.
It's you're injecting yourself into
the daily life of your readers.
Okay. New channels to look forward to.
There are experiments with smell, of course, especially in advertising, but it's mainly in advertising. They do experiments, but in supermarkets where they target smell in certain sections in the supermarket so that people get attracted to certain products. But for newspapers, I'm not sure if this. Maybe advertising in paper. Also, there were some experiments. So
okay, so this is a channel to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.